Da-da-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, dum, dum, da-dum, dum, da-dum, da-dum, dum. Oh, there you are. Hello. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, hearken early. That is indeed another type of thing, isn't it? Yes. That's right. Okay, cool. All right. Well, to THK, also known as the Hayseed Knight. Oh, hello there. Hayseed Knight. This is a fun game. I am enjoying it. I'm like halfway through it, I think. Yeah, just about. Oh. It has its own stuff. Alright, Hayseed Knight, let's see. Where am I? I am in whatever this part is right here. What in the world? Autosaves. Oh, okay. And then you can... Holy cow! Anyway.
Look,
Get this open.
Dana, you can't just be nice all of a sudden. It's too weird. Ugh.
I think the last thing that happened was Aina, Geoff, and Adder were at a pub, and Geoff stormed off because he's an asshole. Yes, I think so. So, Aina went after him. I chose to go after him. Aina is also mute.
I just hope that his heart is hurting for a nice kitchen maid, not that spoiled little...
Geoff muttered something to himself. Then he took his hands to his chin, humming quietly.
Where did that dumbass even find the time to find a lass, though? I recall we went looking for you. I met a guy, and that's where I drop off the face of Dakna. What do you have, shorty?
A broken heart now. Aina tried to think back to the day of the fair. The night she spent wreaking havoc, of course. And the next morning, Peter lectured on her, as usual, for running away without him. But the day of the fair... Aina raised a hand in the air and then stretched out 2 fingers to make them walk over her hand. She then took the hand that was walking and smashed it against the nearest wall, leaving a hole in it. Geoff merely gave her a blank stare. Indeed, she didn't know how Adder running through a wall was relevant either. Aina shook her head. At least she'd managed to gather some second-hand information from what Adder told Illigrab, so maybe they could figure something out together.
Okay, maybe he just didn't say she was a gazelle, but he surely talked about her. What would an idiot in love say? Poems. Her mien. Did he talk about the marks on her face? Or her hair?
Oh boy.
How about her eyes? Did he recite about 4 verses full of similes, specifically likening her irises to sapphires or the sea?
No, Geoff. No, that's not Adder. No.
Okay, I need to get in character. I'm a huge walking palm tree that likes girls. Okay, what do I want? Her bosom? No, gazelles don't have any of that. Her horns? Nah, you'd have noticed mine. Their fur is yellow, and so is he. Okay, that doesn't help. Come on, Geoff, you know gazelles better than anyone. They have a tail and... Wait, tail.
Uh-oh.
That's it! Her butt! Did he talk about anyone's butt?
Aina didn't really want to recall all the times Adder had spoken about butts, but she did all the same. No. Adder hadn't said a single thing about anyone's butt recently, except maybe hers. Aina never thought she'd feel sad about such a sentence.
Good. I was afraid I'd have to choke someone. Wait, one more question. Just to be sure. Did he mention anyone booping him?
Aina vaguely recalled Adder screaming at Illigan that someone had booped him. Whatever that meant. Aina nodded. Geoff's face turned an expression of pure, unadulterated horror. No! That has to be illegal somehow! Oh, God, no! All right. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep your temper in check, Geoff. Okay. Hello, kitty.
Remember when I said that I'd be fine with him being with anything but a golem? This is the exception to the rule. I'll give you my blessings, I'll play at your wedding, I'll do anything you want.
Yeah, you are a piece of shit. Hi.
But I beg you, no, I implore you, keep her away from him, or else they'll... Oh, God, no! I'm imagining it! Look, I can't handle this. I can't look him in the face right now. I'm going home. Oh, gods, I have to tell Taylead. No, wait, no, he mustn't know.
A sudden concert of harmonic bells, the last thing one should expect in the slums. And yet a one-bar band hurried in their direction. Geoff wasted no time.
Get your hands off my lad, fat ass!
Oh! I'm gonna...
What did you just say?
Kick his ass, Sep! This is Sep, as you can see, obviously. And she is the gazelle. Everyone else is deer, except for Aina. I'm pretty sure Aina's a wolf. But she's considered a golem. And she is best character. Best girl. Aina lacked all of a sudden the mental capability to point at the culprit hiding behind her. There was too much on her mind.
I don't have time for this.
The gazelle ran away, trying futilely to hold the bells that hung from her sash together so they'd stop ringing.
All right, that feels a lot better. Come on, Cabbage, we have to head back to the tavern. It's time for you and I to get back to work. Let us never speak about this again. Should be easy,
Dick.
Oh, by the way, I'm keeping this as a consultancy fee.
Did you just lift her purse? Geoff shook Aina's coin purse eagerly. She was kind enough to just bend his arm the wrong way instead of removing it from his body, since it wasn't her money anyway.
There you are!
Ah, Burbas!
You won't catch me alive!
Geoff ran in the other direction, slamming the door behind him. The three remaining clients in the tavern watched him go without saying a single word.
He must have taken you for a tax collector.
How uncivil. So, back to the topic at hand.
That's right.
Hey, Aina, come here. This one here was just asking about you. Get this. He thought I was your patron.
I said master.
Hold up. I think I see the confusion. You mean the good kind of master or the bad kind of master?
Oh boy.
Because I'm neither of them. I'm just Aina's little potato boy.
She's cute. Aina couldn't afford to lower her guard for 1 second. That fallow deer staring at her so intently could very well be a spy from Heirloom's Traders Guild trying to get information about her.
So, do you two know each other or something?
We absolutely do not. You may call me Burbeth if you must spend your breath discussing anything other than this beauty. Oh, look at that skin. Porcelain could never be so pearly.
Creep.
Gods above! Is that alabaster?
Adder and Aina shared a confused look, while Burbeth kept rambling.
Is he hitting on you?
However, the almost total absence of a snout and that triangular nose shape do not seem to align with the heavily embellished idea of the Ekain held throughout the rise of Persecurat. A fawn, perhaps? No, of course not. Eyes so detailed, roundish shapes and a small mouth. Oh, look at that blush covering the nasal area and the cheeks. The very expression of femininity. Oh, undoubtedly unique.
Darn right he's hitting on you.
Of course, the Safi may have had a twisted sense of humor, shaping their servants like us, but they had their own moral standards. My point is, I never expected to see a golem with female features. Could I somehow convince you to part with it?
She don't break him.
Oh, my dad! It even talks! How did you make it do that?
I automatically do not like this guy. Goodness gracious. What were you doing?
She, sir. Aina's a she.
Yes, I said as much. Wait, what are those spikes between her teeth? Some sort of defense mechanism?
Oh, fight him! Fight him, please! Please! Fight him! Burbeth pulled Aina's jaw open with his left hand, trying to get a closer look at her fangs. Love. Oh man, I heard a steel trap close. Luckily for all the involved, Adder pulled Burbeth's hand away from Aina's mouth right as her jaw snapped close.
Ooh! An automated shutdown function with a timer for protection in the inner workings of the artifact. Oh, how fascinating!
Oh my god.
Have you lost your marbles? Don't go sticking your hand into people's mouths, you creep!
Oh, goodness gracious.
Why, I would never! You are talking about the golem, are you not?
Yeah.
Aina is not a golem!
Indeed, this is not a golem. This may very well be the golem. And I am very much willing to pay accordingly, I assure you. But to elevate it to the status of person.
Kick his ass. Come on, please.
Holy horns, is my accent too thick for them northern ears? Aina is a doe! A doe!
Are you certain about that? I do believe I look more like a doe than she does. If you would be so kind as to ignore the pun.
Oh yeah, he took his own horns off.
So you're one of those does that saw off their horns?
You could have been a fair deal subtler about asking that question. Yes, I file my claws for better accuracy, and yes, I lost my horns. But I am a man. You are no less a deer for having lost an eye, are you, sir?
I get the feeling you're mixing wheat with chaff here. But I ain't gonna judge nobody for getting touchy about their horns. Sorry, Mr. Burbeth.
Burbeth. Okay.
Oh, worry not, friend. Truly, it is not the individual to be blamed, but a society that places unnecessary emphasis on weaponry and traditions from an age of intellectual darkness.
Yes, indeed.
Here, here. I get so much grief for having small horns. But I says to anyone that looks at them wrong, you got a problem with them horns? 'Cause I should be the only one worrying about my horns.
Exactly.
Indeed! Isn't the practice of turning our antlers to bone as a rite of passage simply barbaric? Without it, we would be free of accidents such as the one that beset me, and your need to overcompensate for your size complex.
Darn right. Wait, my what?
Both Adder and Bourbon turned to look at Aina. They'd clearly forgotten all about her.
Wow. Look at that face! Oh, I could almost swear it looks offended.
Come on. Please kick his butt.
All right, let's go over this one more time. She, not it. I ain't saying that Aina looks like a doe, no siree. She is a doe, Mr. Bearbeth. An albino doe. With a father, not a builder.
Aina's gaze shifted the other way upon hearing the word doe used to refer to her. She nodded anyway, not to leave Adder alone.
Well, it certainly isn't uncommon for an engineer to consider his magnum opus a child. It is, however, extremely unnerving, much like your complete ignorance towards the unique characteristics of your acquisition. The albino-like features we are accustomed to stem from the decay of their original paint. The root of her fur and beet red underpaint on this Aina's nose indicate that she was most likely done originally. I see the green dye is recent, though. Copper dye, perhaps? A, bold choice. Certainly not one I would have made myself. With all due respect, sir, do you understand the kind of chemicals you're exposing your golem to?
Adder stood still, so very still it would seem he had turned to stone. Then the stone began moving. He caught up very slowly, put both hands on the table, until he was fully standing the towering mass he was.
You could call her my boss. You could call her my friend. You could call her a zillion bad names and she'd be all of them and more. But by God help you if you call her my golem again.
Adder's scream almost sent Bourbon longing. Panting and clenching teeth was not an expression befitting a boy so sweet. Aina put a hand on Adder's arm. The boy stared at it for a moment before carefully shrinking back to his place on his seat.
Ahem. If your eyesight is as bad as I suspect it is, perhaps you should consider acquiring a monocle, friend, or a relaxing cup of hemlock tea, both of which would do you much good.
Hemlock? Hemlock would kill him. It's poisonous.
I am not sure as to how you stumbled upon her, but I am what you might consider an expert on the subject of Basakzarat as a whole, and I can tell you, this is a golem.
She's not!
Is too!
Yana.
Is not!
Fine. I had been told the rose seemed hard of hearing out of sheer stubbornness, but let no dear say I did not attempt to reason with you first. Prepare to be convinced, sir.
Burbot's cape flew open. He drew a dagger with his left hand and pointed it at Adder. Seeing this, the barkeep rushed over to their
Stop
side.
that, you halfwit! They're gonna destroy the tavern!
Who? That fool?
Before even an inch of the tiny blade had been revealed, Adder started running. And even though Burbot clearly didn't have any intention to pursue him, Adder kept running all the same.
No, not the Sandfur! The beast!
Oh, not this again! Please, this is a golem! Honestly, are all you villains nearsighted?
Aina glared at Burbot with all her strength, but she promised not to cause a ruckus. All she could do was stand up to watch our brave buck immediately head in a panic to the other end of the room. A knight that ran in the opposite direction whenever he saw a pointy thing. Some night that would be. Then again, Adder hadn't said anything about that for months. The only one to ever mention it anymore was Yoth. Of course, Adder had stopped talking about becoming a knight. He knew how ridiculous that sounded, and he had probably realized at some point what everyone knew. There was no hope for him. Once more, Aina had stayed behind. She had clung for dear life to the idea of a boy that had outgrown her, ridiculous as it sounded in that precise moment. Aina sighed to herself, finding the whole situation rather underwhelming. She didn't even react to Burbith's approach. The so-called golem expert cut a small gap in Aina's trouser.
Now, face the irrefutable proof. Look at this.
Uh-oh.
Wait, where are its joints?
Mhm.
Maybe the other leg.
Oh, no.
No? Over there? How about Oh, that is very anatomically correct.
Oh my god, no you didn't. Crush his skull like an... Yeah! That's well. Oh, that's so cute. Perhaps there was still hope for Adam. Oh. Kind of, like, the guy just freaking... Oh, I would have done the same damn thing. Gonna need a second, 'cause... Oh my god. That guy did not just do it. Holy fuck. Go at her. Yeah. Anyway. Perhaps there was still hope for Adder. Yeah, for real.
I really don't know what to say. Part of me wants to yell something like, I expected better from you, son. But I'm all about standing up for the little guy. And you're all tiny to me, after all.
Illigrab's like... Oh, you saw how tall Adder was. Illigrab's like 4 feet taller than him. Even though their sprites are kind of like more closer together in size than... Yeah, you get what I mean.
But against all evidence pointing to the contrary, Aina is very much not the little guy in any situation. Ever. And even if she was, you really should be a little wiser about who you pick fights with.
How was I supposed to know that that asshole son of a beast was Lord or whatever?
Oh crap, I'm going... Path out. Okay, I'm alright.
Hey, we don't use that language here.
That's how we call them pervs that don't respect the lady back in my town.
Making mothers the subject matter is not respecting ladies.
Uh-oh.
The patron insults Miles all the time, and I ain't never seen you complain.
Hold on 1 second. Okay.
And since when's that senile desert shrub a role model?
He is not. He's like 150 years old. He causes up a storm. They love Aina's patron or father, whatever you want to call him.
Thanks for the follow.
Thanks for the follow, Koshi. What's old? Oh yeah, he's old as sin. He regularly get put in, like the other people in the city will regularly go to him, snatch him up, and try and burn him at the stake. And he'll just stand there yelling at Illigrab to come get him because he can't get down off of the stake himself. It never hurts him, and they do it all the time. So it's just like, it's hilarious. I'll have to replay from the beginning because I don't know if the VODs are still around and redo this whole thing. I actually need to because there's other choices that I could make along the way. So, yeah. Anyway.
What in the name of the Hatsa are you laughing about now?
Quit hollering! She don't know what's going on! Aina, I'm here! Just let me go with her!
Oh no, you're not going anywhere. I keep my guards well behaved, and I expect no less from the citizens, Adder. Mindless violence is not the solution to your problems. Thought you knew this already.
That wasn't mindless violence. That was completely and utterly acceptable defense of another person. 100%. Adder let his head rest against the bars and covered a small window in the door. Or that covered the small window in the door, making sure to give Illigrab his meanest look.
Look, I'm sure this is all just some big misunderstanding. I know Burbith. His train of thought is a bit weird at times, sure, but he's not a bad kid. There has to be an explanation for this.
He ain't got nothing to...
Kid, I can barely understand a word you're saying. You're gonna stay here thinking of what you've done until Burbith wakes up. If he wakes up.
Maybe the latter shouldn't happen.
Come on, Aina. It's time for you to go home.
Aina gave Illigrab a very meaningful.
Fine. You can wait for him in the entrance. But I swear by Aiamai that I'll rake you across the coals if I find a single brick out of place in Addersal when I'm back. Are we clear?
For reference, Aina is strong enough to probably just rip this door off of its... just rip it out. With her hands. And she's a blacksmith. And she's awesome. Aina nodded eagerly. Illigrab gave her a dubious look, but he seemed to be in too much of a hurry to make sure she'd stay put. Break into Adder's cell and break him out? Or keep a promise and not do that? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Whoop. Break him out. Too bad Illigrab forgot to say anything about the cell's window. Aina took a brief look into the room from outside. To the city guard's credit, the dungeon was actually considerably nicer than Giof's house, and definitely safer. No beast or Macador would find Adder there. Oh, she wasn't breaking him out, she was breaking herself in. Just gonna hang out with him until his sentence is up. It didn't take Aina much effort to bend the iron bars and sneak her little body in through the window.
Aina!
Cool. He's got the hand mark. I wonder if those are tattoos. Adder didn't waste a second. He immediately threw his arms over Aina and began smothering her with incomprehensible cries that were most likely meant to be reassuring. They soon derailed into some sort of...
I swear by 3 and all smoke guns, I ain't never going back to the tavern with you, man.
Adder hugged her with a force that would have destroyed anyone's ribcage for a good 10 minutes, but Aina didn't have the heart to stop him. No, she liked it. When he finally pulled away, his nose was running and his face all wet.
Anyway, I'm glad to see that piece of crap didn't hurt you. That knife looked so sharp that I couldn't help but... Wait, did the Illigram just tell you to stay the hay out of here? Aw,
Adder took her hand to his face, babbling about the trouble she was going to drag him into. It was only then that Aina noticed something was different, not just in Adder, but on him as well. Oh. Oh. FYI, he's been... Sep? Him and Sep, a hand-shaped dark mark on Adder's chest that was most definitely not there last time she got a good look at Adder's chest. Of course, Adder noticed that she noticed.
What's this? Poison! Oh, no! Bearbeth must have cut me! Oh, praise the gods I ain't dead!
Oh no. Aina made it clear that he was about to be very dead if he didn't begin to spill the beans.
I really thought it was just a burn.
A hand-shaped burn? Adder didn't seem to be lying, but he clearly wasn't telling the truth either. Aina inspected the mark up close. Long, slim fingers, and a small palm. It clearly couldn't belong to a deer. Lacking excuses to do so as often as she'd like to, because she thinks he's cute. Aina put her hand on his chest just to be sure that it couldn't be one of her kind either. Which of course left one people. And one girl.
Maybe the 3 are punishing me.
Oh dear. Oh my. Aina took another look at the mark. She had it on a good authority that divine punishments didn't look like that. It looked more like a brand. Someone had marked Adder as their own. A Sephi, perhaps? No, that was preposterous. Aina's mind wandered right back to the gazelle that ran past her in the alley, gracefully shifting her weight to keep her balance on ankles that were all too thin for her body. Geoff had made it clear that he thought it had to be her, and perhaps in a remote part of whatever remained of her soul, Aina was all too eager to call some random gazelle a winch. Aina closed her hand around the mark on Adder's chest. Get your hands off my lad, fat ass, indeed.
Any ideas, boss?
Her gaze returned to Adder. His face was very red, as she'd totally forgotten to remove her hand from his chest. He's just like, oh no, she's so cute, and she's like plucking me, and oh my goodness. Aina took 2 fingers to her forehead, and then bit them.
Yeah. They're punishing me for being a horn eater.
That just couldn't be. Geoff would be covered in markings. Someone else. Someone out there saying that Adder was hers. That he'd forget Aina. Someone that had managed to get closer to him than Aina ever had. Even when she was by his side every single day. Adder and Aina shared a brief, doubtful look. Aina's face went red for some reason she couldn't comprehend. She took her horns to her forehead once more.
Yes, boss. Horn eater.
Aina was trembling slightly. She began poking at his face, laughing in that mean way of hers as she called him a horn eater over and over.
Boss, quit that. I'm all done fighting today.
Oh, that's not nice. Oh, excuse me. Aina kept hitting her forehead against him, getting more and more frustrated. She wanted him to understand. She didn't know what, so she needed him to understand it for her. He finally grabbed her by the shoulders, stopping her. He brought his face right in front of hers and looked at her with decision.
Aina, you okay? Are you trying to tell me something?
She wouldn't have known how to put her feelings to words even if she had been able to. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Koshi, are you still there? Would you like to put in an input? I know there is one other person. This poll will close. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It wasn't fair that someone else had kissed him. She needed to cast her shame away, and if she just got a little closer, maybe then they wouldn't have any need for words.
And then they kissed, and they married, and they had a million babies. The end.
Shut up, Lynn! God damn it! It's not gonna show the juicy parts! Yeah, that would totally have been nice. But Aina didn't have enough courage to do that. What? Aina and Adder didn't have any time to say another thing. He began hitting everything but the lock, marking the end of her visit.
Adder, please tell me you're still there!
Ilgrab nearly slammed Adder's cell door open. He finally stopped saying Adder upon seeing said boy calmly sitting on the bench.
Hey there, lad! I have some good news and some bad news. Which do you want to hear first?
Bad news first makes the good news better.
The bad?
The good news is that Burbeth is alive and well. He'll wake up soon. Bad news is, you and I are going to be taking a stroll to the marketplace.
Oh, boy.
How's that bad?
Are you familiar with the words, attempted magnicide? Don't worry, I'll explain on the way. Up we go!
Hold up! What do you mean by public execution?
Oh, no. He meant, of course. What was it?
Nothing! Tell me what happened next.
Right. Well, Adder and Ilgrab. Then.
All that talk about food made me hungry.
Great. Sign that you should return to your parents for the day then.
That's, no! We can't stop here. I don't want to go until you finish the story. What if your old butt crumbles to dust tomorrow and I haven't gotten to hear the end of it?
Adder turns into a knight. Someone messes up his name at some point, and you are eventually born. The end.
Don't go! Please! I'm going to write even faster. Stay a little longer.
Fine. But I'm not letting you starve. By the moon and all its children, where am I supposed to find milk now?
Milk? What?
Isn't that what fawns eat?
What? I'm not a fawn.
Sure you are. What are you, 2? 3?
14.
See? A kid. I'm not even sure you're old enough to hear what happens.
How dare you? My age doesn't matter here. I'm a gaze reader. You wouldn't believe the things I've seen inside people's minds.
That's fair. I can understand that.
Hmm.
Oh, damn. Eesh.
See, there's this one goat with a broken horn.
No. I don't want to hear it.
And then she asked me to foresee if the other girl had managed to pull it out of...
I said I'd leave you. Oh, God, this is why I this. One day you're all cute and tiny and full of hope and fully numb ears, and the next you're suddenly 2 heads taller than me and thrice wider, and you only know how to talk about... What's that look for?
What are you?
I am very done with this conversation. Chapter 3. I will be right back. I need to utilize water. I'm thirsty. I'll be right back. Ooh, chocolate. Oh, crap, my mic's not muted. Thank you, Harris Heller, for being my Be Right Back music. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's do that. Chapter 3. The stuff that I haven't seen. What? Oh, locked in freedom. Or, how to keep your head up when you're about to lose it. Literally. Bells tolled over the city, announcing the end of curfew. The start of a new day for the city at large, but the last for a poor, misplaced buck. That was sudden. But let's leave Otter's story suspended for a moment and take a step back. A narrative, metafictional step back. not a temporary or temporal or physical one. At this point, I hope you may have realized that my version of the story of the Knight of the Upper Field is much more about the people in Adder's life than it is about the boy himself. And that is sorely lacking in Knights. That is sorely lacking in Knights. And not only Knights. No, another essential archetype in a chivalrous legend such as this was missing. The princess. She'd been missing for a moon now, even though Adder knew her location with pinpoint accuracy. Fortunately for Adder's as yet unwritten destiny, nobility tends to aggregate and grow together, much like a certain types of fungi. Not far from the scaffold, in a lonely cell by the entrance of the city guards keep, an imprisoned princess eagerly awaited her rescue. The legitimacy of her imprisonment would be at the very least disputable, and though the title of princess had been imposed upon her, she aspired to much more. Expecting a knightly rescue was, however, a matter of honor at this point. I wouldn't dare say what kind of matter headbutting a dungeon wall over and over was, however.
I'm going to slap him. I'm going to saw his horns off with a spoon. I'm going to make a skirt out of his cape and burn this place to the ground and make soup with his roasted... Ah, Sir Askadath. Finally.
Wait, did she just say Askadath?
Yes, she did. Don't say another word until we're done here.
I'm afraid that Sir Askadath is currently indisposed, my son. He has personally tasked me with the crucial mission of escorting the Jasif back to the bordello whence she came.
Excuse me? Did I hear you wrong? Or are you really saying that he's had me waiting a whole night in the dungeon, like some common thief, just to have his butler fetch me without any further explanation?
Affirmative, my son.
So what exactly does he expect me to do? Go back empty-handed after spending the whole night out? I can't leave without my payment.
Then by all means stay, my son. I will ask Sir Askadath to come at his earliest.
I have waited enough. You will take me to him, or I will have you front the payment on his behalf.
I don't appreciate your implications, my son. I am a loyal steward. I could never... Sir Askadath? Sir, if you have finished polishing your horns, there is a matter that requires your undivided attention.
Hush! I'm brooding!
Elpar.
I realize how important that must be to you, sir. But if I could have a moment of your time...
I said no interruptions, damn it! It takes me out of my dramatic...
The door flew open almost immediately. There stood a deer with a jaw and a chest, with a volume such that it would seem the gods saved extra mass for him when all of Deerkin was made. His huge horns were so gleamy and well kept that one would mistake them for marble. His arms were the size of melon. This deer-shaped force of nature tried his level best not to look terrified upon seeing the gazelle stomping towards him.
Oh, do my eyes deceive me? Could this truly be the sun of my skies, the star of my firmament, the light of my...
Don't even bother.
Ooh.
Babe, please don't tell me you're truly willing to throw a tantrum over something as insipid as a short interlude in the dungeon.
What a Chad.
Short? I have spent 6 hours locked in a filthy cell wondering what had become of you. You were supposed to meet me in the Royal Pathway last night.
You were on the Royal Pathway again? Oh my goodness, Sep.
And I did. I waited there until it was obvious you wouldn't show up. It's not my fault you let yourself be arrested before reaching our rendezvous point.
My only fault was expecting the captain of the guard to have enough wits to keep his patrols away from his escort.
Ooh.
Watch that tongue, woman!
Uh-oh.
You are making me look bad in front of my staff.
My opinion of you remains unchanged, sir.
That means that he thought low of you to begin with.
Oh, so I'm not discreet enough for you, am I? Would you have me lower my voice, or hide my horns, perhaps? Should I wrap my tail around my waist and dye my hair so as not to stand out around you? Have you forgotten who you are talking to, Sir Askadath?
Of course not! How could I ever forget? Just see, Princess of the Sands, most fragrant flower, love of my life, fire of my...
A mere step forward sounded mightier than any drum.
Could it be then that a knight such as yourself can give orders to royalty now? Or have those polished antlers of yours grown so large that you can no longer see who you are addressing? Are you daft? Or are you just frozen to your sad, wretched core?
Ooh. No one missed the sound Elbar's throat made as Sep's nose touched him. His kind of like that gulping noise that you hear in cartoons. Kind of like...
Bammet! Fetch a barrel of my finest wine from the cellar and have it delivered to the Desert Rose at once! I want you to personally make sure that it is most excellent.
Okay.
Gladly, sir.
Bahamut scuttled out of the captain's office, leaving the couple alone at last. The burly deer breathed so deeply that it would seem his heart was about to collapse at any moment, but his short legs resisted quite well.
Will that be enough?
Of course not. Give me a portion of the assignation for Miss Rochelle as an added compensation. And pray I don't tell her I had to spend the night alone in the dungeon. Though I'm sure she'll find out sooner or later on her own, as usual.
Sep made to leave, knowing that her righteous fury could only take her so far. A strong hand pulled on hers, making her turn once more.
Is that a tear I spy on your face?
I don't like Elbar.
I would never cry for you.
Blast me and all my luck! Oh, how cruel have I been without realizing so. The poison in your tongue was not without reason. Hide behind your lies all you wish. I don't deserve your honesty.
Hi, I'm Zap Brannigan. Oh my goodness. Wait, no. Zap Brannigan is not the right kind of comparison, because Zap is all like... Yeah, never mind. Still, freaking Chad. Oh my god.
I doubted my love for you at a match, but I now see you missed me just as much. Words alone cannot express the pain I feel, my princess. I cannot undo my carelessness, but I can at least attempt to better myself. Please, show me how to please you.
How about an explanation? Now.
Who? Elbar's cape flew most dramatically as he turned away from Zap. Silence followed after him, but the knight had to heft his heavy thoughts before speaking.
A tragedy befell my house last night. Thamar's heir lies limply on his bed, his face swollen, purple and red, nearly as broken as his spectacles, as lifeless as his right arm. I feel as if the gods were playing an encore of my mistakes on him!
Oh dear. That's horrible. What happened?
What happened indeed? I cannot begin to fathom why my liege would rather spend his time in a tavern in the slums among society's slag instead of joining me for a drink in my palace. But that's not the matter at hand, is it? Two men remained on the scene when my guards arrived. One was taken to his bed and one to me. All I know after the deed is that the very first moment I saw that wretched, one-eyed scoundrel, I could tell he would be the mastermind behind this attack.
There was an abundance of one-eyed people in Heirloom, though not nearly as many as there could be, considering how much Deer enjoyed butting heads. Sep knew this. She knew that it could have been anyone else, but the only giant tree man in the dungeon had been chanting acquaintance's name over and over just hours before.
One-eyed scoundrel?
I hesitate to call that creature a deer. Taller than a palm tree, but with antlers short as a fawn's. You would seem a skeleton come alive if it weren't for his horrifyingly gigantic hands. Gross and gibbous.
Them hands.
Formed by the atrocities he's committed with them. And it's not just his body that's twisted, but his mind. He could have fled, but no! That miscreant preferred to slander the name of my house with treacherous fabrications, claiming he was protecting the honor of some albino broad from Burbage.
Elbar's remark was not without a reason. Sepp knew this, too, of course.
That doesn't sound like Burbage? No. Did I tell you about the lengthy conversation I had with him when you brought him to the Desert Rose? He talked at large about my great figure, and his fondness for dissecting corpses. Do you think there's a link between the two?
Ooh.
Oh, don't mind his rambling. He's just awkward and a little quirky, that's all. It's all those dusty books they feed him in the academy. They cloud up his brain and his glasses. My liege can't tell a woman apart from a scholar anymore.
Right. Well, as you well said, I certainly can't imagine him having any lowly impulses towards anything beyond his alembic. And yet...
Elbar's ears perked up as Sepp mouthed the last sentence. She was venturing into some truly dangerous territory.
Doesn't the case sound a little incomplete to you, Sir Askadath? I feel like there's a key piece missing somewhere. Not even a roe would be thick-skulled enough to attack a noble without a reason.
A reason? A reason? What reason could anyone have to attack a crippled scholar? Such prurient curiosities what got my brother in this situation in the first place, Jasif. Do not spare any sympathies for that lowlife or his kid.
Oh. Oh, that was your brother. Shit.
His kin? Oh, of course. That's what this is really about, isn't it? Showing those reprobates how to deal with their betters. Who would keep them from trampling Makadar saplings and stealing offerings otherwise?
Yes, you understand now! They may look and sound dumb, but their upbringing makes them deceptively cunning.
Oh, what I really don't like it.
Cunning enough to make you trust them with your biggest secret, only to abandon you when they learn more than they can handle.
That's oddly specific, but yes! Don't ever let your magnanimity cloud your judgment, my princess. Those hoodlums barely count as sentient beings.
Wow.
You really have some opinions on Rose, don't you?
What? No! Bite that sword, Jasif! I was talking about peasants, not yellow deer. I don't care what they look like on the outside, Barhan or Ekain, or anything in between. All that matters is that they are the same on the inside. They're filthy, stinky insides.
Holy shot! Holy cow!
Think of all the diseases they carry. Fleas, plagues, illiteracy. God, I feel dirty just thinking about all the farmers that still roam this city at large.
Holy shit. Bill.
You killed him?
I tried to do so myself, yes. But no matter how much I insisted that erasing such vileness from Dakna is my responsibility, Irgrab wouldn't shut up about breaking protocol if I so much as drew my sword.
Is he dead or alive, then?
See for yourself.
Elbar pointed towards one of the arrow loops in the wall, leaving the gazelle completely frozen on the spot for a moment. What was the appropriate reply to such an off-putting offer? What kind of horror did he intend to show her? A dormant sense of morbid curiosity won the battle against fear and respect. She advanced towards the window and looked over the plaza. And there he was, Adderson, son of Gerfins, standing on the scaffold with a noose on his neck, and his hands tied behind his back. The executioner stood grimly beside him, exchanging words that Sepp couldn't hear no matter how much she strained her ears. In the time it took Sepp to blink, and doubt if watching this horrifying scene was actually a good idea, the executioner pulled the lever, opening a trap door beneath Adder's feet. Please let him land on his feet, because that would be really hilarious. And he can't die here anyway, otherwise the story would be over. The way our protagonist fell was so simple and to the point that there was a certain elegance to it, a magnificence that Sepp could never appreciate, for she took both hands to her face instinctively, afraid she may scream in unison. And so spoke Adder, as the rope finally reached the extent of its length.
Ow! Ow!
Yeah! Oh, crap.
Whoa! That didn't hurt half as much as I thought it would. Alrighty then. Which way to my next life?
Whole plaza froze up. No one dared move or say a word. It seemed a spell had been cast on the audience. Adder took notice of their expectant gazes, Barto apprehensive to be looking at a fresh corpse, and so he turned his face down at the astonishing speed of 1 degree per second. His hooves were resting solidly on the ground. The threadbare noose, irritating his ridiculously long neck, had merely traveled from his collarbone to the base of his jaw, loosened by his hunching spine, falling away. Sepp heaved the longest sigh within her hands, feeling her heartbeat once more for the first time in an eternity. The whole world mirrored her, finally set into motion her reaction.
Oh, come on, not again!
The crowd laughed and cheered at his reaction, chanting for his relief.
Did you see that? This is the 3rd time that it happens! The 3rd! That rube is sturdier than a damn Macadar! I've never seen anyone survive being hanged thrice!
They don't try again? Okay.
What a clown. He's loving the attention.
Is he? Oh, curse that boy and all his lineage! What point is there to a public execution if the prisoner isn't even scared anymore? Tell me, what am I supposed to do with a man that refuses to die and that I'm not allowed to kill?
Sepp looked for an answer among the agitated audience, who were now beginning to scream insult at the guards as they approached Adder.
A trial, perhaps?
So, Elbar is actually my ancestor? What? But that can't be! Adder has to be the... him?
Calm down, kid. By that logic, Burbeth could be your ancestor too.
Burbeth is my ancestor?
No! Look, I know this is kind of important to you bloodsacs, but we don't have time to spare. If my hunch is right, you have nothing to worry about. Simply a matter of a character mix-up over the years to simplify the story.
But what if you're wrong?
You can freak out, or you can write, Lynn.
You underestimate me. I can freak out while I write, and I fully intend to do so until this matter is clarified.
Have fun, then.
Adder! How are you hanging, lad? I'm sorry I couldn't make it in time for the 3rd pass, but here's a little something to make up for it.
Oh, great! You brought water.
Well, I thought you'd be parched from screaming so much. No worries, though, we're almost done here. I just heard back from the executioner, and he's pretty sure he found the right noose for your neck this time. You know what they say, 4th time's the charm.
I don't want to die.
Oh, so in this span of time, he, just this morning, or whatever the time of day is right now, they've been trying to hang him, and they've tried 3 times. And he won't die because he's too tall.
There, drink up. Don't let a little fear of mortality get your spirits down, boy. You're taking the execution like a champ. Trust me, you should have seen how ridiculous the dare before you looked as he fell. You're a natural at this!
That's exactly what people want to be known for as being a natural at. Getting hung. Seriously. Or being executed. Just goodness gracious.
What the hell are you even doing here, Illigrab? You don't want to see me die that bad.
What? No! Don't even think that for a second, Adder! I love you! And I know how much death means to you, mortal, so I just figured I would keep you hydrated instead of letting you wilt all alone. In front of the audience.
So you ain't gonna do nothing at all. That it?
Hey, I've done plenty. I convinced Elbar to skip the torture and make your death as physically painless as possible. Just a little whoosh and a crack, and that's it. End of story.
Well, thanks, Illigrab.
It won't hurt half as bad as the time Aina squeezed a potato out of your neck, I promise.
Hey, boss! Oh, that's right. Darn it, it's about time to work. I gotta tell her I can't make it today. You know if she's headed off to the forge yet? I don't want her seeing me like this.
Jeez.
That, my boy, is precisely why we need to get this over and done with. I don't want to imagine what would happen if she stumbled upon your body hanging in front of the whole plaza.
Oh, she'd kill everybody.
So get me the hay out of here! Ain't that what friends are supposed to do?
Justice should never distinguish between a stranger and a friend. I would never forgive myself if I gave someone preferential treatment just because I cared for them. You wouldn't want that either, right?
I think he would want that. Because that means he wouldn't die.
Of course I would! Knights are supposed to uphold justice and truth and fairness and all that crap you sold me on, but Lord Snotty Snout here's gone and sent me straight to the gallows for fighting off a creep just because he got a fancy name. Does that look anything like justice to you?
No, Adder. And that's precisely why I need Aina by my side until the storm comes.
All right. Noose lined up. Bring that poor sod over here.
Be a good boy now and pass on calmly to your next life, okay? Whoever and wherever you are reborn, you'll have a better life than this.
Oh yeah. His hands are enormous.
Personally.
And Sept loves that. Adder dragged his feet towards the platform once more, climbing the steps with feet heavier than concrete. He steeled his heart in preparation for the overwhelming sight that awaited him. An excited crowd, cheering and pumping fists. Sept was right. Deep, deep inside Adder's mind, in a dark, unexplored corner of his heart, he was almost enjoying his last moments. It was the first time so many people were paying attention to him. They were even being nice to him. Enamored with his hungry public, our dear Adder conceived a plan. He would scream, "Wee!" as he fell. Everyone would remember the boy that went, "Wee!" if the noose failed to kill him a fourth time. Perhaps the captain of the guard would take pity on him and grant him a pardon. He'd be the talk of the town. Even his heart's missing piece would surely hear about this new folk legend, Adder Neck Strong. But that was strictly a B plan situation. The A plan was not falling.
Hold up. I ain't survived not one, not two, but 3 falls now. What a lucky number, am I right? The 3 must be on my side. That's gotta count for something.
Just saw your comment. Oh god. Oh my. Yes indeed.
Yes, you get a free axe to the neck if you make it to the 5th alive. Now bend your knees this time, will ya?
Do I get to say my last words?
You've said them thrice already.
Yeah, but what if this is the one time I actually...
The platform disappeared once more beneath Adder's feet, letting gravity do its bidding with the boy. Our protagonist was about to woo those congregated around him with his impressive bravado and mock death of his mind-boggling reading skills, when he realized that something had fundamentally changed in his relationship with the noose. Oops. In the minutes since they last met, the rope had become a whole lot more attached to his neck. What they had went from passing tryst to something much more tangible, real. The noose surrounded Adder's neck in a tight embrace and promised to never let him go as it pulled him back to its side.
Oh, now you've done it! Look at the poor thing! He's suffocating! This isn't what we agreed on at all! I was promised a swift death!
Then go and snap his neck yourself. I've got other people to kill today.
Don't worry, Adder! I'll file a complaint in the city council later today! Your suffering shall be avenged!
Oh, god damn it, Elgar.
Great.
If he's able to talk, Jeez. Adder's most loyal fans started booing and insulting the executioner as he casually walked away. Those less devoted among the public simply decided to let it go and enjoy the usual harmless family fun provided by the girls. Are they going to start hitting him with sticks? Please don't. Alas, this wasn't meant to be the last we'd hear from Adder. Like a sun rising from the north, a pair of gleaming, polished antlers charged into the scene at breakneck speed, or at a hasty pace, at the very least, to give the onlookers enough time to appreciate the magnificence of said round.
Ah, there you are, still alive and writhing. Gods, you are a far more bizarre sight up close than any nightmare my mind could have devised. Lowlier yet than the lowliest scum.
Okay, I'm no longer laughing.
Elbar, can you at least have the decency to let the boy die in peace?
This is kind of creepy.
There's been a change of plans, Tree. Nobody is dying just yet. Gather the witnesses and pull the noose off this jester. We shall hold a public trial for him.
Okay. I mean, yes, of course. Color me leafless, Elbar. This is a first for you. So, when and where should we hold the trial? Should I go ahead and call the Bards Guild to spread the news?
Friggin'. I'm sorry. He's just up here like,
Gods, no! What matter of nonsense are you spouting? The last thing I need is more beggars and ruffians loitering around.
I really
we
hate
hold
you.
The trial right here, right now.
So, we're keeping it small and personal, I see. Nice and quiet.
It's like you guys are planning a wedding. What the fuck?
No, seriously, do you understand how the concept of public trial works?
I just have to convince a bunch of peasants that I'm not some sort of despotic tyrant, right? That's a cinch, as the commoners say.
Oh, fantastic. Why don't you go ahead and convince them that I'm not a tree while you're at it? I'm sure you'll... Oh, sorry, lad. I forgot I wasn't dealing with Red for a second there. One unloosening coming right up.
Adder fell to the ground immediately. He took a hand to his mouth. He tried to stand up, panting desperately for breath.
All right, babe, he's not dying anymore. There's nothing to be squeamish about now. You can come out.
Adder thought as his legs tried and failed to separate him from the thin layer of dry mud covering the pavement. Does she always relate to me? But I'm dragging my face to the ground. His answer arrived in the shape of a sly smile and a discreet look of superiority.
Look alive, maggot! You are in the presence of royalty. This is Jasif of Bassacursed, heir to a kingdom forgotten by the ages. Know this, for it is by her magnanimity and her magnanimity alone that you haven't yet drawn your last breath.
You give me far too much credit, Sir Askadath. I simply didn't want to live with the death of this poor hayseed on my conscience.
Yes, well, it will be on my conscience if he doesn't die today. So don't keep your hopes up.
Our newly reborn boy dared look up again, only to find Sepp's deep blue eyes pulling him closer like a magnet. What Adder first considered a project of his lonely imagination soon proved to be a very tangible reality. Trembling and bound to the ground under Elbar's heavy foot, as he was, he still couldn't peel his eyes off hers. Why was she here? No. Why'd she find me? But why is she with him? 1,000 questions piled up in Adder's unoxygenated brain, making him feel like his head was about to explode.
So many thoughts, and you can't even spare one miserable "thank you for saving my life"? Really? Where have you left your manners, Adder?
Oh, she's a gaze reader, so she could probably hear everything that's going on in his head. Her voice rang in his ears, loud and clear, but Elbar remained none the wiser to her sharp words. The realization fell on Adder's mind like a boulder. His thoughts were no longer his alone. And he is also a gaze reader. They are both gaze readers, so they were just reading each other's thoughts. Yeah.
I heard you! I heard that just now!
So what? I want you dead! I can say that as many times as I want to. I do not need to hide my intentions from you, do I?
I'm pretty sure that Maxi, the creator of this game, is going to see this at some point, because I'm going to make sure they see it. I hate Elbar so much. You did a fantastic job. By the way, this game was created by one person. Granted, they didn't do all of the voices and whatnot. They got other people to voice the characters. But the art, some of the music, the storyline, what everybody's saying, all of that was created by Maxi Molina. Or Sandra Dev. Sandra MJ Dev on Twitter. Anyway, yeah. I hate Elbar so much.
Do I, ear grab?
I do not have my intentions from you, do I?
You should at least pretend you're willing to give him a chance.
Gods have mercy! The trial hasn't even started and it's already driving me up a wall. Let's go, Jasif. This ordeal gets more and more infuriating by the minute.
Good luck with the trial, handsome. You're going to need it.
What was that?
Oh, don't get jealous now. I just wanted to give him a little encouragement in his last moments, that's all. It's common courtesy in my line of work.
I would think it's far more common courtesy to make an exception with the man who attacked your fiancé's brother. Come on, my patience wears thin!
If you could see my face right now. What? Sorry for anyone's ears that might have hurt, but for real. They've been doing the... Remove headphones. Remove headphones. Remove headphones. Maxi, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. They're engaged. You could do so much better, Seth. Like him. Heck, Illigrab would be better than this. Sep shrugged her shoulders in a nonchalant way as she crossed her hands behind her back, marching with her characteristic strut a couple of steps behind Elbar. Adder could only watch haggardly as they disappeared among the crowd. A knife had been sunk into his heart, shaped like a word.
Oh, lad, you sure stumbled into a handful. Don't mind Jasif's little games. She's had a bit of a rough decade.
Brother? Did he just say brother?
Oh, we're changing the topic? Great choice! I didn't want to talk about her either. Brother indeed. Elbar here and your pal Burbith are the only recognized sons of the late Lord Thumar of Askadath. May the three protect his estate where his sons will not.
Say what? How come nobody told me I was punching Lord Snotty Snout's brother? Sweet mother of a boiled pea, no wonder he wanted me dead. Pass me the noose. I'm gonna finish the job for him.
Leave that noose alone, lad. I don't know what's gotten into you all of a sudden, but digging up your sense of accountability won't solve anything now. Besides, I doubt Elbar resents you half as much as he claims to. You might have just done him the greatest favor of his life, after all.
What do you mean, favor?
Well, Elbar may be older and wear his family name with pride, but he's, suffice to say that Burbith is the heir to their household by blood right, even though he is widely considered a less than ideal candidate. Lack of horns and all, typical deer business. Once the retainers catch wind of what happened last night, however, well, the banished egomaniac may yet look like a reasonable choice compared to the feeble fawn who can't hold his own in a fight against a malnourished slum dweller. No offense, kid. I'd say I feel bad about Thumar's house, but that's what happens when you're more interested in making fawns than raising them.
Oh! Damn!
You take that back this instant! I ain't gonna stand by and hear you spit radish stew about Lord Thumar like it was no big deal. He was nothing like that, you hear me? You clearly didn't know the man.
Whoa.
And you did? What a grand concept! To think that you'd get to know a lord better in 2 decades than I could in 104 years. Tell me, Adder, when was the last time you visited his palace in Corbussuit? Never? Oh, I don't suppose you were pen pals then? Ah, of course. How could I forget Thumar's time in Chantharay? You may have just met him at his best. Old, sad, and remorseful, left to wither away in a fort on the other side of the world. But I sure hope you didn't, because that would have some ugly implications for a soldier.
Adder's somber expression finally put an end to Illigrab's retort. A life mediating in conflict had turned Illigrab into a peaceful man that treated words with respect. He could measure them precisely and know how much distance they would travel if spoken. He knew that he'd gone a few leagues too far this time. Coming back would be a challenge.
Come on, Adder! It's just you and me here! You don't have to hide it anymore. This was all part of yet another one of your little far-fetched plans to become a knight. Am I right?
That ain't none of your darn business, Illigrab.
Oof.
Ow.
Yeah.
That's okay. You're still mad about the whole throwing you in prison thing, the execution, and I get it. Right, we still have to make sure that you don't die. I'd better go round up the witnesses. Here, keep the water.
Illigrab hurriedly shuffled away from the scene, leaving Adder alone to contemplate his choices. Though alone would hardly be the correct word here. There was someone watching the roe deer 1,000 times more intently than any of the audience gathered around the gallows. It's either Giaoth or Aina. or whoever this is. Far up in the battlements of the walls that surrounded the bazaar, 2 purple gleams stalked at every move. Oh, yep, Aina. The observer scurried through the shadows, trying to find the optimal route to sneak on into the scene. Couldn't be done haphazardly. Crowd was an enemy far too terrible. Just imagining that formless mass of eyes sinking into her skin chilled her to the bone. Adder looked like he was hanging on just fine in any case. A mere rope and a 1-story fall wouldn't be enough to take out the deer she had chosen as her apprentice, with or without the goddamn tree man's help. God's damned giant tree man's help. Forgot he's giant. Her eyes shifted towards the lonely guard posted towards the plaza in a long stretch of a rampart. Taking him out in a loud enough manner and throwing his body in the plaza for everyone to see would prove a perfect distraction. How to avoid killing him in the process, though, was the question Adder would have brought to her attention. To be fair, there would be others, such as, did he deserve that? Or what about his family? But moral dilemmas were hard and her personal censor didn't have to know. Silently advanced towards the guard. Our morally ambiguous assailant raised her hammer against her unsuspected victim, poised to turn the helmet inside out. The hammer struck with a soft thunk, crumpling the steel in such a way that it made it look like tin. Aina took a couple of steps back as her thoughts began lurching against each other. It crumpled the tin because it was tin. There was only a smith in the whole city making a custom order of fake tin armors. With eyes wide as platters, she struck the helmet once again, and again and again. She battered against him, and yet the guard refused to react to his brutal attack like he was supposed to. He didn't fall forward and plunge down to the plaza. He didn't crumble to the ground like a bedsheet. He didn't gasp or scream or bleed to his death. He didn't even have the decency to turn around before speaking.
You must be the one called Aina.
Oh. Uh-oh. Boscatet. Ancient Boscatet. Older yet than the one every Baran once knew. Old and rough, with words that stumbled from ear to ear, unsure if they were to be spoken, for they were directed at someone far too great for them. His words masked the sound of shuffled feet until it was too late. The newcomer lunged at her before she had a chance to turn and face them.
Aina must not reach the deer.
Definitely not a guard. Aina tried to jump back and forth, struggling to wiggle her head out of the powerful arm that had her in a headlock. The nature of her target had never been a concern as far as she could think back, but her instinct told her it mattered now more than ever. The creature restrained her, threw its head back, and soon a high-pitched sound filled the air. To the uninitiated, it would have seemed nothing more fateful than a minstrel blowing a flute, or perhaps a sheet snapping against the wind. A dozen other guards, posted throughout the walls, turned their bright eyes toward her, but only one of them began moving.
You know, this wasn't exactly what I had in mind when I told my crew that I wanted our reunion to bowl you over. But you've got to admit that a hostile takeover is just our kind of surprise party.
Y'all are wolves. Wicked. Hi. Aina's eyes twitched with every word. She looked up, finding a bright row of teeth in front of her.
Don't hold it against me, sis. We're just following orders.
What? Sister? What? What? Huh?
We will now commence the trial of one Chanthurian refugee, Addison, son of Gerfan, hailing from the now extinct ravine of Olens. Before we start, I'd like to remind you all to mind the pitchforks, keep your fawns by your side at all times, and please refrain from throwing rocks. Addison has been accused by Sir Elbar of Askadath, son of Thumar, of making an attempt on the life of his liege, Lord Burbith of Askadath, son of Thumar, with whom he shares a father, but not a
mother, half-brother, son of a maid. They don't need to know our goddamn life story. Get to the point already.
Ahem! The Imperial Edict of Estates and Privileges dictates that any commoner accused of a crime against a noble house be it in their own lands or in a foreign province, shall be disposed of as the highest ranking member of the affected family sees fit.
Hold on. The Imperial detects any commoner accused of crime against a noble house, be it in her own lands or in a foreign province, shall be disposed of. Got it. Okay.
In an auspicious and entirely unexpected subversion of this law, however, Sir Askadath has decided to hold a public trial for this peasant. Addison will be tried and judged instead by the city of Heirloom as a whole, against which he has committed the following additional crimes: unlicensed mendicancy, unlicensed smithery, unlicensed rivet peddling, street fighting, destruction of property, unlicensed reparation of said property, collaboration with a known Sevi, public drunkenness, and peeing on my leg that one time he was drunk. How do you plead against these charges, Addison?
I plead
Innocent! Innocent!
Oh, god damn it, Joe.
Mr. Bard?
Oh, Hierub.
Oh, good gods, guard my toes! I didn't think I'd make it on time! I heard the words execution and one-eyed and I feared the worst! But you're here! You're fine! As fine as only you can be! Oh, my sweet cockeyed horn-eating ladder! Don't you dare worry me like that again, you dumbass! You are going to give me a heart attack one of these days!
Now that I know that he's gay. Yeah. That's cute.
Bard, I don't know what to say. Look, I really appreciate the thought, but
Yes, you can apologize all you want later. We have more urgent matters to attend to now. Like your sudden bout of frontal nudity. Where did your stupid cape go? One night in jail and you're coming back with tattoos? Haven't I taught you anything at all?
Who's that scraggly singing voodoo capering around with a hat stuck to his magnificent horns, Eargrab?
Oh my gosh. Eargrab contemplated his feet wistfully, combing the ground in search of the right words to define 30 years of history buried beneath the pavement. Gyoff keenly skipped this preamble.
I am no poodoo, my lord. I'm just short, which is sadder. My name is Gyoff, son of Igai. Yes, that Igai. And I am Addison's herald, manager, landlord, and lawyer. Kindly ignore anything this lumbering psychopath may say about me, Sir Askadath. Not content with having my father killed unjustly and destroying my life, this backstabber seeketh to get rid of my best friend as well.
Oh, wow.
I'm only letting you stay with Adder if you promise to keep personal grudges and slandering comments to yourself, Gyoff. That goes for you too, Sir Askadath.
Well done.
Kindly ignore anything this lumbering psychopath may say about me, Sir Askadath.
I'm only letting you stay with Adder if you promise to keep personal grudges and slandering comments.
Eargrab wiggled his mustache nervously as he turned his face away. A perfect chance to strike. Gyoff didn't waste any time doing the vocal warm-ups. He jumped straight into the scene, dragging Adder's oblong head under his armpit like a solid piece of evidence.
So what has this hapless backwater haven of peace done to deserve a sentence as ostentatious as attempted magnacide? Was the sight of his hunched neck and his deformed hands such offense on Sir Askadath's eyes that he longed for a quick death?
That's the slandering comments.
Adder punched Sir Askadath's brother, Lord Burbith of Askadath, in the face.
I need a second to review the case with the defendant. What were you thinking, you recalcitrant brute?
nothing. I mean, I didn't do it just because I felt like it. That nutcase was obsessed with Dana. He wanted to prove she was a golem or something, so he pulled out a knife and he pointed it at me, so I ran away. But then he began cutting in his robes, so...
He began cutting in his robes? So what? What? Aina is a golem, Adder. Nothing but a puppet made of metal and marble. She moves with magic. She could have eaten that knife if she wanted.
She could eat 9 for breakfast every day if she wanted, and I'd still stand up for her anyway, because she's the best boss in the world, and nothing else matters here.
I go to bed thinking that you've finally gotten over your onanistic delusions, only to find that you've lost your mind overnight. You can fool yourself, but not me, Adder. I know you were just afraid of letting him show you what her insides look like.
I'm gonna show you what your insides look like if you don't shut your yapper this instant, Gyoff.
You dare threaten me? Me? The deer that took pity on you and fed you and found you a job when you didn't even have a corner to crawl into and die? The deer that loves you like only your mother could? You turn on me over a stupid piece of...
Uh-oh.
Are you done over there?
Oh, I'm done with this Gollum Humper, all right?
Great! Then let us proceed with the testimony of the first eyewitness. Soonerall of the Lucky Bastard, if you please.
The old woman coyly walked towards the center of the growing circle of attendees. She nodded respectfully towards the other grab, and then made a small curtsy with her apron.
Oh, 3. I saw it, sir. I did see it with my own eyes. I watched that blonde hornless fawn nearly get his snot punched off his face by Adder here, no less. Just when you think you've seen everything in this city.
Could you describe your relationship with the defendant, miss?
Oh, it's nothing like that, sir. Adder's just a client. One of my favorites, too. So poor, and yet so honest for lying as much as he does. Nothing like that little fiend Gyoff. Yes, Adder is such a good boy that not one day had I seen him mad. Not one. Till last night, that is. Goes to show you never know with his ilk. Some screw must have come loose in that thick skull of his. I'm telling you, sir. It's all that butting heads business they do.
Bitch.
Huh? Did you hear that, peasants? This stag is clearly out of his wits. He's a danger to us all.
Elbar, wait until your turn to throw baseless accusations. Soonerall, try to recall, please. Did Adder really explode all of a sudden? Or was there something else affecting his reaction?
Well, I didn't want to assume it would be something bad, but they did babble a little before that. Lots of fancy words thrown around. Scared the clients away from my tavern faster than Gyoff's music could. But I can't really help you there. It all flew right over my head.
I couldn't get half of what he was saying either, but that don't matter here, man. Tell him what happened then, and tell him how he digged and drew a sword at me.
Oh, there you go, making up tall tales again. That was no sword, 'twas just a knife. If only that stupid, stubborn Stumpy Horns hadn't...
Mrs. Barkeep's mouth opened and closed slowly as words failed to take form in her mind.
Resume your testimony at once, woman. It happened last night, not last week.
Sir, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I forgot what the blonde boy did after that.
Miss Barkeep's voice became nothing but a whisper as she finished testifying.
A senile bartender and a ravenous street shrub gone mad? This trial couldn't get any more pointless if it tried! Are you all convinced now? Am I allowed to put an end to this torment?
Elbar, that's not how trials... Actually, never mind. Soonerall was the only eyewitness, Burbeth is still knocked out, and Aina is thankfully...
Aina! The beast! That's it! That's what tried to hurt the beast! I told him not to! He should have listened to me! They'll come for us, you'll see! The beast will come! Isifik, save us from them!
Wow, I knew she was crazy to hire me, but this is a whole new level of insane.
What sort of deluded nonsense is this? She seemed fine a moment ago. You dastard! Have you paid this hag to speak in your defense?
You call this a defense? She got far too many cobwebs in the attic if she really thinks Boss is anything but a dyed doe. Y'all gonna get your eyes checked, darn it!
Who in the name of the Hatsa is this boss of yours now?
The beast. Oh, the beast.
Soonerall, please! Come back to your senses! Beasts are nothing but old wives' tales in this day and age. There's no such thing as...
Illigrab, have you seen that beast of mine?
Go on! There's Red. Welcome, Red. The patron. I was... God damn it! The scene is so great! There's no such thing as beast! Have you seen that beast? Illigrab's sigh could have been heard from a league away, deeper and louder than any of the gasps and screams shared by the mob around them. He gently pushed the barkeep aside, after wordlessly reassuring her that everything would be okay.
Well, look what feat has decided to snake its screens out of its hole. You all know him, dear jury. The last merchant of Basaxarat. Just the calcified Varhan skeleton we needed in this freak show.
Put a padlock on that crap hole you call a mouth, or I'll stitch it shut for you, Kyoff.
Try all you want to scare me with scatological threats, Bertok. I know deep down you are always happy to see our godson.
Oh, man.
So happy that if I had eyes, I'd pull them out of my skull again just to avoid seeing you. Now move before I move you, Scullion! The sun would rise and fall twice before I was done insulting you and that stuttering mumble crust you foisted on me.
Can someone please tell me why in the name of Baitatse and all the gods both big and small are we letting a witch walk in like this?
This witch is the father of the absent eyewitness, Your Grace. So perhaps she can share a little insight on the whereabouts of the only creature in this kingdom that could have a shot at saving the defendant.
Didn't you just hear me, you earless squeaker? That's what I'd like to know. I don't care what that little vandal does with her knights, but she didn't even bother coming home to light at the forge today.
Say what? Aina wouldn't skip a day of work if her life depended on it. Something's gotta have happened to her.
Calm down, you two. Look, Red, Aina and Adder went out for a drink last night at my expense. Your daughter had a bit of a wardrobe malfunction, so Adder was a gentleman and lent her his scarf.
Wardrobe malfunction. Quote unquote. Oh, just words. Okay.
And then he decided to punch feudalism in the face while he was at it. Wherever she is, she's not here. So why don't you go and wait for her in the temple? Hmm? I'm sure she'll come back sooner or later, as usual.
Yep.
Not so fast, tumbleweed! I have some words for this daughter Solier first!
Oh.
How dare you take Aina to a watering hole without my permission? If anything's happened to her, I'm gonna kick you so hard you'll have to wear your balls as a bow tie!
Holy crap!
Well, darn, patron. You better hurry up or I ain't gonna have no next time around.
What are you babbling about, you ragabash? Drag your sorry tail here and help me look for my daughter at once!
My boy Adderton would gladly accompany you on your deliria. But there's a minor snag in the way. They're trying to hang that ungrateful lump of barely cohesive musculature you call an apprentice.
And that's it? You weak-livered milk drinker! What kind of excuse is that? These ruffians try to calcine me once a week, and you won't see me complaining!
What? They're just trying to hang you? Come on! Walk!
See, Adder? This is why I like hanging out with Brett. He never takes the whole execution thing personally.
And he's twitching.
So now you want me to look at him, huh?
This is what I get for trying to lighten up the mood.
Are you all trying to make a fool out of me? Stop disrupting this trial at once! I swear by Baitat that if you don't put an end to this grotesque parade, I'll skip the protocol and cut this idiot's neck myself!
What is he being accused of, anyway?
Punching a noble in the face and working for you, mostly.
What? Are you listening to yourself? This idiot couldn't hit a Magadar in the ass with a reverb fiddle!
Finally, someone with a lick of sense. So, you agree there must be a logical explanation for his recent behavior, right? Such as magic, for example. Come on, Pertok. Why don't you tell the audience how you used your spooky, stuffy wizardry to cast a spell on Adder?
You really think if I still had the power to make anyone do anything, I'd let these dunces treat me like they do?
Oh, come on, old geezer. Play along. It's not like they could try to kill you any more than they already do.
I'm not saying there wasn't magic. I'm saying I wasn't the one who did it.
The merchant raised one of his bony red fingers and pointed it towards the crowd.
I'd recognize the stench of a death if 1,000 leagues away. And this place reeks! Don't try to hide yourself now!
After a few uncomfortable glances, the makeshift jury segued into two groups. At the end of the new path formed between them stood Elbar, flabbergasted. The captain of the guard needed a few more seconds to realize that this was not about him, and stepped sideways, revealing a red-haired gazelle standing rather conspicuously against the crowd.
Stop with your pretense, crone! You can't possibly be talking about her! This is my—
Sep?
Who's this Sep you speak of? This is Jasif, as the witch said, princess of—
Princess? Is that what you're going by now? Ha! Whatever happened to calling yourself queen? Was the throne too small for Her Majesty's ass?
Oh!
If you could eat all that envy, Giav, perhaps you would have a butt to sit on.
Damn!
Whoa, hold up! Hold up right there till my head stops spinning!
Unlike a certain orange parasite, I don't have time to sit around stuffing my face all day. Indulge in hedonism all you want. It is work that shapes the man. Though I guess round is a shape after all.
Oh my goodness, they're gonna
Big
go at
words for someone that looks like a deer sawn in half.
Funny you should mention size when you look like two gazelles glued together. Fat ass!
Imp!
Adder had to grab onto Giaff's tail to stop him from heading off into the audience wielding his ood as a club.
Oh, I knew this would happen. Should have gotten rid of Geoff as soon as I saw him.
So you're telling me that you, the Horn Mushroom, and Jasif or Giuseppe or whoever she is now, knew each other? And you didn't breathe a word?
I thought it had become obvious when he accused me of having his father executed and ruining his life. Though, honestly, I shouldn't say accused. I am guilty.
Jesus Christ. This track was amazing. I'm gonna take a second. It is going so everywhere right now. And I love it. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
But so was Igai, I'm afraid. To think Geoff would go to such extents to fight for his father's name.
That's on him, not you, you sappy pine. That boy ruined his life betting on all the wrong numbers.
Don't feel bad, Illigrab. You hanged a murderer as far as anyone else is concerned.
This is why I ran away from home, you bunch of traitors.
Their heavy words vanished one by one until only silence remained. This is intense. Everybody's just like, yeah, I did a thing. I did a thing. Except for him, and Chad, and he's, in his eyes, perfect.
I was supposed to obtain answers in this trial, damn it, not questions! Why are these people calling you Sep over and over? Are you truly Jasif or not?
Of course I am. I was born a Jasif, and as Jasif I live. Though I was known as Omaseptooth for a few years, before I was free to take the name I deserved. These two are merely family friends bent on resisting inertia and clinging to the idea of the child I was.
Oh, wow.
This changes nothing between us, Sir Askadath. My role remains the same. I am Jasif, brought from the brink of oblivion in the sands of Basaksarat to be raised in the Desert Rose, while I wait to build my kingdom anew.
That's the story her mother used to tell us anyway.
Remember when Thar would call us over to have dinner with the whole family? Oh, those were the days.
Oh, going from execution to trial and accusation to reminiscence. This is... Oh, my head's spinning. Goodness gracious.
Enough! Is there anyone in this trial who hasn't seen you in diapers?
Well, this one. And I need water again. I will be right back. I'm just going to leave it right here. Oh. And I'm back. Hi, kitty. Anyone here who hasn't seen you in diapers? No.
Me. That'd be me. This book's just as confused as the rest of y'all here.
Yeah, I'm sure this bed swerver's seen her with far less than that.
Oh no, 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 oh no. They're engaged.
Now, Red, let's not jump to conclude.
Adder is a proper southern dear and my best friend, well at that. And the only girl he's ever dared fantasize with is that painted rock you call a daughter. I can vouch for the fact that he has never, ever in his life said anything about spending a night with a gazelle.
Yeah, pulled Adder down to his nose.
And much less this one in particular. Right, Adder?
Still water runs deep, you little truant.
Oh, come on, patron. Look at me. I mean, listen to yourself. Who'd ever want a deformed buck like this one here? Hands like a shovel, face like a shoe. If you saw me naked, you'd know there's always someone better to do.
Wow.
Speaking of better things to do, I'm sorry for interrupting our little dainty family reunion, but this will get long if we don't hurry it up. May I remind you all what we're trying to achieve here?
Shut it, Plant! I wish to hear what this old Fogy has to say about those two first.
I'll be brief.
Brief was the blow the red man delivered upon Adder's stomach. The boy curled over his cane, displaying the burns that ran across the chest and shoulders clearly for all to see.
She did this!
I'm sorry. I did what? Hit him with a cane? Order you to hit him for me? What are you accusing me of exactly?
Don't play dumb with me, daughter of Thar! You know fully well that you have branded my property as your own!
Oh.
Employee. The word is employee when you're talking about a person. Already gone over this, Red. Indentured servitude was abolished 4 centuries ago.
Oh, God.
Not in my temple! And you're lucky that's the only corner of the city where my edicts remain! If we were still in Basaxarat, I'd have this girl's palm splayed and all the windows in her house shut so she couldn't conjure a single ember again.
Huh?
Conjure? As in spells?
Oh boy.
Forget the Sandfur! Burn her! Burn them both!
Cease these senseless accusations at once!
Weren't you the one who wanted to bring magic into this? Here's your magic! This shameless broad has been pawing at my daughter's apprentice for quite a few moons now. She could have been using him for anything she wanted.
Oh, wow.
Red, I hope you realize you're making some very serious accusations. Lethally serious. Do you have any proof to accompany them?
You have the word of a Sephi, and that was worth more than 1,000 not back in the day.
I'm afraid we don't have any foreign exchange consultants around, so I'll need to see some factual evidence.
That much I can't do, Old Fern. Be my eyes. What does the brand look like?
The mob became a single whispery unity, congregated around Illigrad. The tree man nodded and hummed every few seconds.
After much deliberation, the jury has decided that the brand seems to be, citing textually, a ham, either a young deer's, or a doe's, or a barhen's. You realize we can't condemn her with such a big error margin, correct?
You're telling me this clumsy scamp didn't even bother making a proper pattern? You idiots! Do the sensible thing and put her hands on the marks!
Adder and Sepp exchanged a brief look.
I'd sooner take a bath in the sewers than touch that flea bag. Who knows where it's been?
Oh, yeah. I'm so full of fleas, they call me Adder the Prancing Deer. And you can catch mange just from looking at me. I got rabies, I got scabies, and don't even get me started on the eye.
Touch that filthy deer, Sepp.
Color drained from Adder's face. He glanced at Sepp desperately, but she had her eyes firmly set on Elbars.
As you wish. But all you will manage to prove is that he's starved for touch.
Sepp advanced gracefully through the crowd, looking so keen as she walked that she could have fooled anyone into thinking she was taking a stroll through her garden, instead of making her way towards Gander. His mind raced as she approached. He thought about what he would say to her if these were his last words. He thought about how much he wanted to headbutt all of his acquaintances. Actually, that was all he could think of at this point. Sepp had, thankfully, far more poise than he did. She didn't spare a word for him when she reached him. She merely took a finger to her chin and ran her eyes up and down the deer in front of her, acting like she had never seen him up close before. Adder pretended to return the favor.
You like what you see, ma'am?
His fake confidence wavered at the end, breaking the effect ever so slightly. But it was enough. The public reacted with gasps and slight disgust, while Sepp shot a knowing smile in his direction.
I'm afraid you're too tall for my taste. Or my reach, for that matter. If you could get on your knees for me.
Oh. I bet he's done that. Sepp extended her hands toward his shoulders as Adder took a knee, leaving them staring at each other in some sort of ceremonial naming pose.
Think of something!
Adder heard Sepp's plea clearly, but he seemed to be the only one. The buck nearly smiled to himself, knowing perfectly well what this meant. As far as the crowd was concerned, the gazelle remained perfectly calm and still, but in Adder's mind she was speaking volumes, pulling the slightest tilt of her head in the way she clasped his shoulder. Adder forgot there was a world outside her eyes. Feeling only the touch of her hands as her voice passed through his head, she sounded anxious and bidding, but for some reason he couldn't bring himself to care. Her warmth was all he... Booming, loud words began filling Adder's head, covering Sepp's thoughts like a thick paste until it was impossible for her to hear her anymore. Adder tried to hold on to the whispers that remained, distraught, but it was for naught. He had to wake up and listen.
Uh-huh. What was that?
Adder only realized that Sepp had been pinching his shoulders over and over, trying to get him to snap out of it once he saw Illigrad's doubtful face hovering above his.
I said that her hands seem to match, though again, that's hardly conclusive. It would be wrong to assume this young woman dabbles in sorcery just because she's a gazelle. We can't forget, however, that a known Sephi is accusing her of magically influencing Adder in some way. And it would seem that the boy is a little too, affected by her proximity to properly present his testimony.
I told you he looked desperate.
I will only ask this once, Umaseptut Jasif, daughter of Thar. What is your relationship with the accused?
Well, what do I say?
You're asking me?
No, Adder. All I'm asking you right now is to shut your snout and let the lady talk while you get your own ideas in order.
All right. Thinking with my mouth shut. Thinking for real hard. Hold up! Why are you leaving excuses to me? You're the smart one here. You think of something.
Haven't you been paying attention? I was practically raised by these idiots. They'll know I'm lying.
Do you want to tell them the truth then?
That is not an option.
Miss Jasif, if you please.
Then don't lie. Just make the truth prettier than it should be. That's what I do every time.
And how am I supposed to do that when I don't even know what the truth is?
This ain't no philosophical question. Just tell me, what are we supposed to be?
Nothing!
That's a lie! Give me a truth, but better!
Well, we are... what are we? 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 What are we?
What? What the heck was that?
So, what are we?
Oh, is this a flashback?
I'm a gazelle. You claim to be a deer, but honestly, I'm not all that convinced you aren't actually the personification of a tuber.
Wow.
No, I mean, what are we, as in, what's going on here? You know, you and me, me and you, you know?
Adder began making gestures that would have looked far more ridiculous than obscene with normal hands. Never mind his.
You're asking if I would be mad if you were to see someone else.
You're trying your darnest to avoid the question.
Excuse me. I didn't realize this was an interrogation. No, Adder. I don't care what you do with your free time, as long as you come over when I want you to. Will that be all?
Nah, I ain't buying that. Come on. You're really trying to tell me that you wouldn't get jealous if I walked up to a doe and hugged her and kissed her and asked her to marry me? Not even a little bit?
No, and to be honest, the possibility hadn't even crossed my mind.
Right. Of course. I mean, I get it. Yeah. You ain't gotta worry, because I'm the toothpick to your 7-course meal.
Wow.
Is that some sort of attempt at an analogy?
No, ma'am! I'd never try that again without your permission!
Oh no. Just gonna pass out for a second. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. That's hilarious. Oh, I'm going to headache. Okay, I gotta calm myself down. Woo! Okay. I'm good.
I'm just saying. I'm like a used toothpick. Here for you and no one else. Because I'll gross everyone else out.
Oh, Adder.
Oh, I see. Emotional chantage. Is that what this is about? What an unbecoming habit for a stag as handsome as yourself. The nerve you have, trying to hear me say how amusing and kind you are, not to mention brave and resilient.
Ooh. Oh, my.
That's certainly not how I'd expect my favorite to behave.
Oh.
So, I'm your favorite, huh? Hold up. You mean there are others?
Now you're gonna get jealous, Adder.
Oh, don't be silly. There can only be one favorite.
No, I refuse. No matter how you insist, I can't just choose one. You are all my favorites.
It doesn't work like that, Mom. You have to pick one.
She looks like she's a doe. Okay.
Why? Can't I love all my children equally?
It's not love, it's law. Illigrip says that it's the parents' duty to choose one child to favor as the heir of their estates to prevent a division of power and infighting among their descendants.
I need to have a word with Mr. Buntalos about his idea of age-appropriate lessons.
Oh boy. The doe's coattails meandered behind her as she made her way through the pergola. Sepp followed them closely.
He also said that I don't need to worry about any of that because I'm not a doe like you. Is that true, Mom?
The trail of ghostly silk came to a sudden halt. The doe turned around to lift the tiny gazelle between her arms.
You know what, Sepp? You are my only daughter. So that technically makes you my favorite daughter, doesn't it?
What does technically mean?
Kind of.
That means I can technically keep my room?
No, dear. You are destined for far greater things. You will have your very own palace when you're older. Much, much bigger than this one.
But I don't want to go. I want to stay here with you. I don't need a big room. It can be small. The smallest one.
Aw, that's
Holy
sweet.
horns. This is your room? For real? I didn't know Barhan fortune tellers lived in places this fancy. I mean, look at that. This place is bigger than my whole house. And I gotta share it, too.
A mere fortune teller could never afford it, of course. If gazerating was the extent of my skills, I wouldn't be able to afford wasting time with indecisive poppers like you.
I ain't got a clue what you called me just now, but that's all right, because here, I'll let you in on a little secret, ma'am. You've been fooled through and through. This was all a test.
A test, So you mean to tell me all that sobbing about stealing your first kiss was just a lie?
No friggin' chance, ma'am. I ain't letting a creep like you off the hook so easy now. But since you got far bigger creeps than yourself hollering down your window, I decided to heroically risk my own body to make you company, till I'm sure you're safe and sound.
And of course, my little bribe had nothing to do with this decision.
Yep. I mean, no, not at all. I was just trying to, see if you could really read minds. Figure out my true intentions while I tried to resist your delicious pastries.
My bad. How could I forget the legendary cunning of the roe deer?
Hey now! Don't think you can get cute with me just because you got me to come here after all. I'm still mad at you. Real mad.
Oh, honey, come on. You can't stay mad at your poor brother forever.
He is no brother of mine.
What would Thar say if she saw you two fighting like that?
She can't say anything anymore, can she?
Oh.
Mom? Mom?
Oh no. Huh?
You didn't think I would let you catch me with my guard down twice, did you?
Whoa. They suddenly... Ooh, this is a creepy bit. Oh, Maxie, I love it. This is a creepy bit. Holy cow. Ooh. Gasping for dear life. A missed opportunity. D-E-E-R. Life. I am funny. Adder bolted up, his mind in a daze and his face covered in sweat. He felt like a volcano had erupted from his heart, setting his whole skin ablaze, from antlers to hooves. But that wasn't the most distressing part. Something was grabbing his shoulders. Something far more powerful than himself. Something bright enough to show through his shut eyelid. He had lived through this once before and came out scarred, but his body refused to learn. Once more, the temptation to look at something his mind wouldn't understand overwhelmed him. He didn't find an angry fireball washing over his limp body this time. However, but a familiar pair of cold blue eyes looking down on him.
Sep, you were fine just now, but also I was there for a while too. But then there was this doe and a door, and then it got real scary and...
You need to find a healthier outlet for those voyeuristic tendencies of yours, Adder.
I didn't catch a word of that.
Sep shoved her face so close that her torn... Ugh. Sep shoved her face so close that her horns touched.
If you keep peeping through every crack you find, someone's going to end up poking your eye out, you creep.
Oof. The strength of her grip intensified for a moment before finally letting go, putting an end to the unnatural flush Adder felt all over his body. Both his skin and his thoughts began cooling down. Little by little, she walked away.
You calling me a creep? You? I hate to break it to you like this, ma'am, but I'm precisely the one that needs a lesson on keeping his hands to himself the most in this.
Adder finally took notice of the world around him. An endless mass of fine sand extending in all directions, shining bright against the blue sky above. The dunes of Basaksarat had been a nameless antagonist in the tales that grandiloquent traveling merchants would share as they stopped by Adder's village, but he had never thought he'd see the desert in person. This land wasn't completely barren, though. Columns of alabaster rose from the ground, forming magnificent colonnades just like those that decorated the Temple of Hiram back in Erewhon. And in the center of it all stood Sep, watching from a throne that sat in the nearest point between derision and amusement.
Where are we? No. When are we?
You are right here and right now. Don't change the topic.
Whoa, hold up! This ain't no memory, is it? I'm thinking. I can hear my thoughts.
Congratulations on your newfound powers of introspection.
Huh. Is this the future?
Powers of what?
He's still dumber in his fucking nails.
No, Adder, this isn't a memory. This is something far, far more personal than that. I guess you could say that you are standing inside my mind right now. Though, a more correct way to put it would be saying that you are trapped.
Oh, he went too deep. Giggity.
Say what? No way you could do that!
Of course I can. I can do whatever I want inside my own mind. And as the ancient Bazakted adage prays, an open door is not an invitation. You showed up uninvited, and so I have decided to lock you up like the burglar of secrets you are.
Nice try, but I got enough of these inspection powers to tell you're trying to use my tricks on me. I ain't so scared of you. I'm just gonna eat any half-baked magic-y radish stew you cook up, ma'am.
See? Your advice is useless if I don't know the whole truth first.
You don't know what happened either?
I can only speculate as I try to piece together an explanation. My best guess so far is that our little bonding experiment worked much, much better than I anticipated it would.
Adder clutched his burns.
Bonding sure is a fancy way to call what you did to me.
The fact that you remember enough to be bitter proves that I did indeed manage to find a relatively harmless way to circumvent the curse. I've made a historical breakthrough, and you should be thanking me for my efforts.
Huh?
Oh yeah, thanks for the tattoos and all the nights I spent hollering down your window without an answer. What did you fix my mind for if you were just planning to act like you didn't know me? You like seeing me hurt like that?
Yes, making you grovel is definitely always a plus. But I'm not so cruel as to plan something like that in advance. It was more of a spontaneous decision, a change of heart, if you will. I realized that I quite enjoy tormenting cowards.
Ooh.
I ain't no coward, I was just scared. You can't blame me for running away. You set me on fire.
Did you spend a whole moon ablaze?
Adder looked up at the gazelle looming over him. He realized that he was trying to win a conversation on a topic he didn't even want to recall. The weight of his anger turned to hurt under the pressure of her stare.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna go find the exit and get so you don't gotta see my ugly mug ever again.
You do realize that the part about being locked up wasn't a lie, correct? This is my core, my retreat, the place where I go when it looks like the sky is about to fall on me. No one should be able to reach this deep within someone else's mind, and especially not you.
I found my way out of deeper pits, no worries. Only thing I care about is getting out of here before it's too late.
Late? Really? You think you're going to be late inside a thought? Oh, that's precious. Please explain to me how someone as clumsy as you managed to slip past my defenses, because I seriously can't understand it.
All I'm hearing is blah, blah, blah. Adder's dumb, and I already knew that.
Oh my goodness.
Time is not an objective reality in the same way a rock or your ignorance would be. An hour can go by in a moment when you're having fun, but that same hour can be a torturous eternity for someone in pain. Time lives inside your mind. A good gaze reader knows how to look inwards as much as outwards and use time in their favor. As long as I can keep my thoughts focused enough, time will remain effectively stopped for me. And for you, little stowaway. We could potentially have a whole eternity to spend together, provided I don't die of ennui first. Then again, I'm sure you'll figure out a way to keep me entertained. We have a lot to catch up on.
A cup of wine manifested itself into Sep's hands. She took a sip, grimaced, and poured the rest on the ground, where it vanished immediately. Then she tried to conjure another.
So, what'll happen to us outside? You know, in the real world?
We'll die one way or another, and no one will shut up about it. A Barhan witch and a one-eyed horn-eater. No, forbidden lovers die in each other's arms as their plot is revealed. Yes, that sounds great. It's very romantic. They'll write songs about us.
Oh, that's sweet. Sep looked up from her fourth attempt at remembering the taste of a cup of wine.
You look awfully somber for someone who is about to spend an eternity with the most beautiful girl on Dakna and have fame to outlive him for years to come. Isn't this like a dream come true for you, Sir Addersund?
No! And even if it was, it wouldn't be right like this. You're about to die for something you ain't done, and my first reaction was whining because you don't like me instead of trying to do something about it. You sure you want to spend an eternity with a buck like me?
Of course not. All I wanted was to keep you out of my thoughts for the rest of my life. But seeing as how you have made your way into my mind quite literally, I'm afraid I don't have much of a choice. Willful resignation is a skill of its own.
No, ma'am! Nice. No one's settling down for Addersund just because they don't think they deserve bitter.
Oh, that's, like, kind of noble and sad at the same time. And, yeah.
There's got to be a way to get out of here and make it out alive. I'll get back to the trial and show them I did what I did because I'm dumb as a bag of rocks and you ain't got nothing to do with it. And
how stubborn can you get, Adder? Am I not explaining myself properly, or is it that you don't want to understand? I always knew you were a simpleton, but I refuse to believe you're this naive.
You got a point there, or are you just itching to insult me?
Elbar wouldn't listen to a nobody like you if it cost him his life. The trial was a farce.
A what?
Sep tilted her head away from Adder, fixing her gaze instead on the empty vastness ahead of them. The sand trembled and bubbled up as it began rising and taking form of a deer and a gazelle.
A trial? What do you mean, a trial?
You said it yourself. Peasants are a brainless lot. We both know that you have more than enough reasons to want that deer dead, but the mob... I'm afraid they will need a little convincing on who to root for when his head rolls.
And why should I care about the townsfolk's opinion? My guards have more spears than they have pitchforks.
Oh.
Do you really want to give them reasons to make a martyr out of a street shrub? You should be basking in the glory of avenging your brother, but instead they're cheering for him. I get the impression no one seems to appreciate your efforts, Sir Askadath.
They really don't, do they? After all I do for them, all the times I've tried to make it up to Burbeth for my mistakes.
Precisely. You need to show them your better side, so that Burbeth may wake up and finally realize what kind of man his brother truly is.
Your genius never ceases to amaze me, Jasif. I was too blinded by honor to realize that Burbeth's sympathy for the commoners lights my path to redemption. Yes, we shall hold a trial to show my liege how fair and compassionate I am. Munificent, too! I shall dispense a few coins among the crowd before the trial to remind the citizens of my... Askadath's generosity. Their loyalty shall not waver when it's time to cast the verdict. And then I'll present the body to my brother as a gift. Mwah! Perfect. Just perfect.
Really? Grim didn't even begin to describe Adder's expression as the memory dissipated into dust.
I only encouraged your optimism because I found it amusing, Adder, but I'm telling you now, it's hopeless. The balance was tipped from the start.
So what do you want me to do then? Sit on my hands while he sharpens his sword? I won't be happy spending an eternity knowing you're about to get burnt to a crisp or trying to help me.
I wasn't trying to help you, damn it! I knew there was no way you could win. I didn't do this to be charitable. I just wanted to make sure that I could see you face to face one last time and know you mean nothing to me.
But that's a lie.
You don't owe me anything, Adder. I brought this upon myself.
Oh. Sep slumped back into a column that rose to seat her. She looked weary and small, tired from fighting a battle she would never share aloud.
If you don't want me to stand up for you, then at least I'll stand up for myself, just this once. This could be the last chance I get to prove I got a head over my shoulders, Sep.
Do you now?
See, you're fine with this because everyone knows you got your head screwed on right. But if I don't speak now, I'm gonna die being Adder the dumbass. My neighbors will say, "Remember Adder?" And they'll go, "Darn right, ain't never seen a bigger dumbass in my life."
I love the way he talks.
And it's my fault, right? Because I let him. I thought if I didn't watch my tongue, I'd end up hanging myself with it. But that didn't make me smarter. That just meant everyone could put words in my mouth and make me dumber than I am. Young thought Shovel Hands was a soft-spoken boy, but no more. I'm gonna get loud. I'm gonna get louder than ever, so Lord Snotty Snout's gotta listen. Addison, son of God, father ain't never shutting up again, you hear me?
You're really setting the bar high, aren't you? I've heard you talk even in dreams. Where else do you plan to... Hold that thought. Could you really be rambling as we speak?
Sep sat back up slowly. Something had changed in her eyes.
I know that face. You got a plan, don't you? That's the Sip I know, smart as a whip and only half as mean. What do you need? Just say the word and I'll get right to it, my queen.
That's a great
Oh,
start.
ah.
But you are going to need more than mere compliments if you want to convince Elbar that you deserve a second chance.
I'm getting mixed messages here, ma'am. You think I got a chance or not? Didn't you just say he wasn't going to listen to a word I said?
And he won't. You could warn him that his head were on fire, and he would refuse to listen to you on the basis of not liking the way you speak. He's more concerned with the envelope than the letter. If you manage to get
reference.
past Elbar's brashness and appeal to his sensibilities, you'll find that he's hiding a heart under his delicate ego. The magnitude of his emotions is his biggest weakness, and I, of course, happen to know how to stir them better than anyone else.
Oh, are you going to speak through him out in the real world?
Whoa there! Don't go getting ahead of yourself now. I don't want you magicking up nobody else's memory again.
As if I had to. There's nothing Elbar loves more in the world than a good tragedy, and you are nothing short of miserable. I'm sure that if you could stroke his ego a little and spin some sad tale, he would call off the trial and pardon you immediately.
Sob story's all you need? Call me Weeper Wailer Adder then! I've done far worse than cry a little to save my butt. I ain't even gonna break a sweat. But that still begs the question, ma'am. Where'd that leave you if it works?
Sepp blinked, clearly taken aback by the sincerity of the question. Adder would have sworn that he spied the faintest blush forming over her cheeks, if he had known her better.
As I said, you don't need to worry about me. Elbar will call off the trial before he lets anyone soil my name, or his by association.
Is that right? He sure looks the type who don't need help soiling his anything.
Takes one to know one, I suppose.
Both the gazelle and the deer shared a mean, knowing grin.
What do you say we call this even for now? Truce?
Truce. Only until I can get you out of my mind, of course.
Which would be never.
Would you kindly show me the way out then?
Could I even? I have an idea of how to get you out of here, but it's kind of a drag, and it's going to take us both quite a lot of mental preparation. I'm getting exhausted just from thinking about it.
Sepp crossed her legs in a very calculated fashion. Adder couldn't do maths, however.
What are you willing to do in exchange for my help?
Hey.
Oh, darn it. You got me right where you wanna, don't you? I've been playing hard to get, but I'm afraid a buck can only fight back for so long. Oh, what the hey? Come on up, you goof off. I'll carry you there.
She's all, yeah. And he's like, oh, she's asking for favors, and he's like, it's a favor on my shoulder. Oh, that's awesome. For the dumbass. Sigh. Sepp headed off in a seemingly random direction, not bothering to look at him twice.
Hey, Sepp, I'm not that dumb. I was just messing with you. We could still... Sepp, wait up! Don't give me the cold shoulder now! I've missed you too! Sepp!
My plan to get you out of here involves a bit of an abstract petition. I need you to follow the trail left by a particularly disruptive feeling. One that has been keeping me up every night since you ran away.
Oh. Adder almost opened his mouth to intervene with his version of the story, but he managed to remind himself he wasn't standing on solid enough grounds to argue.
At first, I thought it was fear. I was afraid that you would summon the guards and tell everyone what happened. I was convinced that my time had come, and I prepared myself to embrace death. But days passed, and no one came knocking on my door.
You really thought I was planning to tell on you like that? I am scared as all get out. A prairie buck could deal with this gal being a mind-reading horn hottie, not a gosh darn friggin' fireball! But that don't mean you stop being you. I'll never let nothing happen to you.
Aww.
So I saw, now and then, and once my fear vanished, I decided to stop worrying about you and return to normality. I managed somehow. Everything was going better than ever for me, and yet the restlessness just kept growing. Ever since that night, I keep recalling parts of my life that I thought long forgotten. I can't take a single step without second-guessing myself. I fear I'm turning soft, weak. I don't know.
Aww. You poor thing. After what felt like hours walking, the journey came to an apparent end. A pristine marble wall blocked any further advance. It stood tall and proud, looking far more impregnable and solid from afar than any wall Adam had seen in the real world. It seemed endless and eternal. Upon closer examination, however, the glamour built from lies and self-importance disappeared. This imposing defense was actually full of breaches and crumbling apart.
I lack the words to describe the change you've stirred within me, Adder, but that hardly matters anymore. All I know is that you have managed to slip past my defenses, and that means it's only a matter of time until someone does it on purpose.
Uh-oh.
I need you to take advantage of my vulnerabilities to find the way back out, and then lead me to it, so I can close it. No one shall get so close to my heart again.
Let me get this straight. The only way out of your mind's making you a worse person, somehow?
I suppose that is one way to put it, yes. Good people don't exactly thrive in the upper crust. That's why I'm closer than ever to power. And you... well, the news suits you just fine.
Rude. This music is awesome, though.
I don't know, Your Majesty. I get the feeling you're being just the usual amount of ugly to this buck. You sure anything's changed at all?
Don't mistake cooperation for forgiveness, Adder. You deserve my help, not my kindness. I am still terribly mad at you.
Look, I know I messed up, and I messed up a bunch, but you ain't the only one with reasons to be angry. You ain't got a clue what it's like to hide a charred chest and a secret like that from all your friends for a moon. I'm just saying, ma'am, if you think you get to be madder and adder, you're...
Time decelerated to a near halt as the accidental pun left Adder's mind, escaped his mouth, and reached Sep's ears. Her lips began trembling, followed by her cheeks. A flush of red covered her nose, and, for a second, it looked like she would lose their impromptu challenge.
As I was saying, your intrusion may yet prove to be a net positive on my life. Show me how to steal my heart, and I will gladly return the favor once we go back to the real world.
But why would you go and leave something so important in these shovel hands? You sure you want me seeing all those memories? I mean, you know yourself really well, right? Can't you just go in there and use them inspection powers to point me to the exit?
Introspection, Adder. And no, self-deception is much stronger than self-help. I'm self-aware enough to know that any attempt at self-analysis would only leave me crawling back into a cycle of self-loathing and make me lose control of both this place and myself.
Okay then.
You forgot any self in there?
Sep's glare made it quite obvious that this was not the time for quips.
I can surmise where my issues lay and point you in their direction once you know what you're looking for, Adder. That's the extent of what I can do without the guidance of another gaze reader, and you're the closest I've seen to one in a decade. Besides, I firmly believe that in the time we've spent together, you have grown to understand me better than anyone else.
Aww.
Not that there was much in the way of competition to begin with.
That's still so sweet. Adder was, despite all evidence pointing to the contrary, a rather simple boy with simple tastes and simple goals. Psychological journeys to the center of the mind were not exactly his field of expertise.
So, I just gotta take a walk in the slums of your thoughts to find a hole in a wall I can fit through, and then we'll go cry together in front of Elbar so you can get back to your life and I can get back to mine, and we can stay out of each other's hair forever like you wanted. That it?
Yes, but it won't be nearly as simple as you're making it sound. Defenses come in layers, each stronger than the last. I don't remember all the feelings I have locked away behind them, but you will. You will walk away carrying my pain with you.
Oh.
You need to start treating your powers with the deference they deserve, Adder. A gaze reader can become an impotent witness to a person's worst nightmare, or worse yet, a participant in their darkest hour.
Oh.
That's a mighty fine reason to be careful, no doubt. But it don't sound all that convincing when you tried to mess with my head the minute you saw me walking down the street.
This and that are two completely different things. I needed to see if you were the deer who helped me. It was important.
So abusing my powers all fine and good long as I can make up a convincing excuse. Gotcha, Teach.
Oh.
That's not... Ugh! You can't truly be this obtuse.
You're just saying words I can't understand because you know I'm right.
Ah, man.
Stop being a pest and make yourself useful for once, will you? Search around and see what you can find. I have other matters to attend to.
Inside your own head?
No, inside yours, duh. Be gone already.
All right, I'm going. Hold up. Where am I supposed to go exactly? I can't just walk up to a guard and say, "Good evening, sir. Would you kindly point me to the nearest..."
A guard manifested out of the fan, fully dressed and looking even meaner than the real ones.
Good evening, sir.
Adder didn't even get to formulate his question. A low rumble preceded an earthquake, turning the sands below his feet into a bubbling lake. Adder ran and jumped from roof to roof as a whole district began growing under his feet. A familiar one at that. The dust finally settled, revealing a detailed recreation of Heartache District, or at the very least the part that Adder knew best, which could only mean one thing. Our amateur mind traveler turned around, finding an otherworldly red mansion standing proudly against all the comparatively discreet houses around it. Adder had found his way back to the Desert Rose, as usual. Contrary to what the uninitiated in heirlooms culture may think, the Desert Rose was most certainly not a house of ill repute. Quite the opposite. It was the jewel of the crown of Heartache District, maybe of the whole city. One would never be ashamed of being caught stepping in, for that would mean they had the kind of resources to behold the multifarious dances, magic displays, and general extravagance their usual patrons partook in. Fewer yet would even dream of ever carrying enough coin in their pockets to afford a sojourn in this multifaceted cultural center. Needless to say, it was not the kind of place someone like Adder would ever be allowed to frequent. And by frequent, I mean look at it from any distance shorter than 60 steps. He wasn't even allowed to breathe in his proximity, lest he contaminate its air of nobility. Despite their strict anti-Adder policy, however, the guards that usually stood by the main gate didn't seem to mind his presence at all. They looked rather complacent and not at all stabby.
Right. Of course. This is just one of Sep's memories. None of this is real. You ain't here at all. Well, I mean, I guess you're here. You're just not here. So, look, y'all mind if I come in through the front door just this once?
I actually need to go to bed. It is late. I am tired. And I don't know how much of this is left. Holy cow. But I certainly hope you enjoyed, because I have enjoyed. You heard me. Yes, I need the sleepies. Lots of sleepies. Anyway, I bid you all adieu, good night, and everything else. And I will see y'all next time. You have a good night as well, and no problem. I enjoy... This game is so much fun. I love it a lot. Even though a lot of it is just... It's a visual novel. So you go through and... Yeah. It's a lot of fun still, though. And it's hilarious, and I love it. Anyway, I will see you guys later. Did I save? I saved, right? Yes. I'm gonna save it again anyway. Yeah.